What is that in the sky? Oh my God!
Some of the most shocking UFO encounters didn't happen in secret labs or distant galaxies. They happened where anyone could see them. A long, cigar-shaped UFO has been caught on camera in Pennsylvania, hovering silently and moving unlike anything built on Earth. Witnesses are stunned. Pennsylvania isn't new to strange sightings. Reports go back decades, some as far as the 1960s. Today, we'll show real footage and rare details that go beyond rumors. This is what people actually saw. Cigar UFO in Pennsylvania, 2023.
No idea.
Look, bud. Look at the sky.
What's that? What's that?
Let's start with the cigar-shaped UFO that was spotted floating in the sky in Pennsylvania in 2023. It happened on the morning of April 6, 2023, just after 9 a.m., a resident of Newtown Square, Pennsylvania, captured a brief but startling clip of a long, cigar-shaped object gliding across the sky. The shaky, handheld footage was posted to Reddit and then uploaded to YouTube. It shows a slim, elongated silhouette moving sideways in a steady, deliberate line while the person recording the video spoke in disbelief and curiosity. He revealed that the sighting was taking place over Newton Square at about 9 a.m., and before anyone could stop it, the video was shared and discussed across multiple social platforms. At first glance, it's hard to identify the cigar UFO. It seems to be long and metallic, but there weren't any visible wings, rotors, exhaust plumes, or any other familiar control surfaces. Even when the camera digitally zooms in to attempt a closer look, the outline of the UFO remains stubbornly simple. It has an elongated fuselage-like shape, smooth and uniform, with no discernible windows, doors, or markings. It moved steadily, without the wobble or micro-adjustments you'd expect from a drone, and also without the forward-facing orientation typical of airplanes. This made many to further suspect that this was definitely not a human-made aircraft. When you hear the recorder speaking as he videos the UFO, he repeated questions like, "What's that?" and "Look at the side." It was clear that this video was unscripted and genuine. There is no narration or script, and it was just an immediate human reaction to something strange happening. That helped the clip gain traction among UFO enthusiasts and local onlookers. Of course, skeptics had their own explanations for what the cigar-shaped UFO could be. There were explanations like an unusual balloon, experimental military platform, photographic aircraft, or even an aircraft seen at an odd angle. But there was no publicly available evidence that this UFO was human-made. It had no sound or visible propulsion, not to mention the object was rigid and long like a cigar. Local authorities and federal agencies didn't issue a public statement explaining this clip, which was strange as the video was spreading all over social media. But their silence has only fueled further speculation, and some users suggest that this might be an extraterrestrial visitor. This Pennsylvania UFO sighting has increased the interest of enthusiasts into what's happening in the skies of this American state. In the same year, another UFO sighting occurred also in Pennsylvania, this time near a gas station. Shermansdale UFO. In Shermansdale, Pennsylvania, Amon reported a very strange and unsettling UFO sighting near a gas station. He claimed to have seen a craft hovering roughly 200 feet above the road, with its outline illuminated by 8 vertical lights. The lights were described in a mix of white, yellow, and a hint of green. To make the UFO sighting even more mysterious, the witness said that he tried to capture the video of the UFO sighting on his phone and pointed the camera skyward to film the object. But when he later checked, the video wasn't saved. That lack of concrete visual proof made the incident even more mysterious. When the Sherman's Dale report was investigated, it was revealed that the UFO was very different from an ordinary aircraft. There were no visible wings, obvious propulsion system, and sound from the strange craft. Also, the 8 vertical lights on the UFO didn't align well with how traditional aircraft or drones are typically lit, and that has raised a lot of questions about what exactly was in the sky that night. But when the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency investigated, they found out that it wasn't an isolated case. The agency has looked into more than a dozen UFO incidents in Pennsylvania over the past decade. During a state budget hearing, PEMA's director confirmed that many of these sightings can be explained, like with rockets, high-altitude balloons, or satellite flares. The Sherman's Dale encounter might have shown someone a strange craft and unexplained lights, but it only had one witness and no other evidence, so it's difficult for UFO enthusiasts to look into it. The fact that the video attempt failed only makes the mystery deeper, and so the only piece of the puzzle that we have now is the witness's account. But that's not all, because in 2020, another strange UFO was spotted in the Pennsylvania skies. Triangle-shaped lights. In the spring of 2020, in Brookville, Pennsylvania, a witness gazing westward reported seeing a formation of lights unlike anything familiar. They described the lights as star-like, yet moving much faster than ordinary stars, and it was arranged in a rough triangular configuration with both orange and white hues. This strange aerial pattern hovered high in the sky, beyond the reach of their phone camera's capability. Although the witness tried to film it, they said their device couldn't pick up enough detail, and after watching the lights for about 15 minutes, they literally faded away. Local observers and investigators have speculated about what these lights might have been. One possible explanation focuses on the proximity of Interstate 80, and skeptics say that car headlights could, under certain atmospheric conditions, reflect off cloud cover and appear as floating lights in the sky. Another theory points to the nearby airport, as some say that these lights might have been caused by a conventional aircraft that was maneuvering at higher altitudes than the witness assumed, and this is what caused the glowing formation. But the behavior of these strange lights makes it hard to explain this UFO with human explanations. The speed and lack of a clear physical vehicle has caused some to wonder whether this was more than a trick of reflection or light refraction. The witness couldn't film with clarity, and eventually the lights disappeared, leaving the incident completely unresolved. Traditional UFOs like this are not unique in the UFO lore. Reports of a dark triangular craft with pulsating or colored lights have been circulating for decades, especially connected to black triangle sightings. These objects are usually spotted in silence, hovering and with strange light configurations. In Brookville's case, the triangles of light may or may not represent a solid craft. They could be reflections, formation flying, or something more exotic. Still, Pennsylvania remains a hotspot for UFO sightings, and in 2024, another strange UFO was spotted. But this time, it was photographed by the eyewitness, and the extra evidence made it hard to ignore. Yardley Area UFO. In late 2024, Yardley, Pennsylvania, specifically the lower Makefield Township area, became the focus of renewed UFO speculation when a local woman reported witnessing an odd, throbbing orange orb hovering just below the cloud layer. The orb hung motionless in the sky mere hundreds of feet above the ground, close to the softball fields opposite the local police station. What made the sighting especially unsettling was how abruptly the light moved. The woman said that in a matter of seconds, the orb shifted roughly 1,000 feet away from its initial position. Despite its proximity, she reported hearing no sound. There was no hum, whirring, or anything else to suggest that it was a conventional aircraft or a drone. She even took a photo of the glowing light before it flickered out of view. This wasn't Yardley's first brush with strange UFOs. The area has had a lot of UFO sightings over the years, and so the locals aren't exactly surprised. Local UFO investigators and enthusiasts, like the researcher who goes by Persephone Holloway, have also spoken about the strange event. Holloway expressed skepticism that the light was a simple drone, and it's easy to believe him. After all, the behavior of the orb was silent, rapidly relocating, and pulsating with color. It didn't align with typical unmanned aircraft. The authorities have also been less forthcoming about this strange UFO sighting, despite all the overwhelming evidence. The Yardley Borough Police claim that it's a drone sighting, and they didn't give any other official explanation for the orb. The mystery remains open when you consider the lack of noise, proximity of the object at one point, and the sudden disappearance. The Yardley orb is just a sign that Pennsylvania has strong UFO activity. To make things even worse, this isn't a new thing, but has been going on since the 1960s. Back in 1965, even the military and state police had to investigate when an extraterrestrial object crashed into the woods in Pennsylvania. Kecksburg Incident, 1965. The Kecksburg Incident of December 9, 1965, remains one of the most enduring and controversial UFO cases in American history. On that evening, a brilliant fireball streaked across the sky over several U.S. states and parts of Canada, with eyewitnesses reporting sonic booms, shockwaves, and falling debris. Locals in the rural area around Kecksburg, Pennsylvania, then revealed that something had crashed in the woods, noting that there was blue smoke, a loud thump, and vibrations. First responders, state police, and volunteer firefighters arrived on the scene, followed closely by U.S. Army and Air Force personnel. Authorities closed off the impact site, preventing civilians from approaching. Witnesses later said they saw a large object, shaped like an acorn or bell, and about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, partially buried in the ground. Some describe a band around its base covered in hieroglyphic-like symbols. Some eyewitnesses then revealed something shocking about what happened after the UFO crashed. Those secretly watching found out that a flatbed truck, under guard by military personnel, carried away the covered object late into the night. These testimonies fueled widespread belief that this was probably a government cover-up. Despite the fact that this was spotted, the military continued to maintain that the search turned up absolutely nothing. Years later, NASA entered the picture. In 2005, the agency stated that experts had examined metallic fragments linked to the incident and concluded that they probably came from a Soviet satellite, specifically the Cosmos 96 probe. But it seemed like this was a cover-up, because many records from the investigation went missing sometime in the 1980s. Skeptics and UFO researchers are still unsatisfied with the official versions. Interest and investigations deepened 2 years later, when UFOs landed in Pennsylvania and left behind a strange smoke that didn't disappear for over an hour. Queen's Run. In April 1967, in the remote area around Queen's Run, along Pennsylvania's Bucktail Scenic Byway, or Route 120, several witnesses reported a striking UFO event involving glowing lights that defied conventional explanation. The witnesses saw green lights with brilliant white centers moving about in the night sky in dynamic motion, appearing to float or drift rather than follow a fixed course. What made the sighting truly perplexing was what happened after the light vanished. The witnesses said the lights left behind puffs of smoke that lingered in the sky for more than an hour, refusing to dissipate like ordinary vapor or clouds. The lingering smoke was the strongest evidence that this was a strange UFO, or extraterrestrial craft, and not just a trick of the light. At the time, the phenomenon raised as many questions as it did speculation. The witnesses were not alone. Lou Bernard's report revealed that this was not a one-person hallucination, but actually a multi-witness event, making the UFO sighting more credible. Despite the striking visuals, there was no hard evidence of this UFO sighting. There were no photographs or radar data, so some skeptics still want to believe that this UFO was caused by light refraction, lenticular clouds, or even misidentified aircraft or drones. But Pennsylvania isn't the only place in the U.S. dealing with UFO sightings. Even North Carolina, which is about 8 hours away from Pennsylvania, has seen a shocking UFO sighting that enthusiasts can't ignore. North Carolina sighting.
Yeah, I got it. I don't know what that is. Dude, y'all see that crap?
Yeah, I see it. Oh my God! Look! Alright.
There was a chilling UFO sighting in North Carolina where witnesses spotted something strange and eerily. It was definitely not a plane, and it looked more like a burning spacecraft racing across the sky. The observations began when people first thought they were seeing a plane in distress, possibly falling out of control. But as they watched, the shape and behavior didn't match any conventional aircraft. Instead, the object was engulfed in flames or a fiery glow, flying low and fast and dangerously close to the ground. There was palpable concern in the crowd. This was no ordinary aerial mishap. Instead, the burning glow, the speed, and the low altitude all suggested it could be minutes from crashing. And yet, shockingly, the crash never came. The object didn't tumble or lose altitude. Instead, after a tense moment, it shot across the sky with sudden acceleration. Then, almost just as strangely as it appeared, it vanished without making a sound. There was no explanation, wreckage, or a sign that it had left anything behind. Eyewitnesses were left baffled. There wasn't any identifiable plane structure like wings, fuselage, or tail, and it had a fiery appearance, so it was clear that this was something stranger than a simple aircraft malfunction. Many were deeply unsettled because it seemed like they had just seen something entirely unknown. In a place where many people are used to spotting normal planes or helicopters, this event was something strange. The case has increased speculation and questions by UFO enthusiasts. UFO sightings have remained interesting to researchers and enthusiasts around the world, especially when they seem to be even more real. One of these happened when a man, Travis Walton, actually spent time with aliens. Travis Walton was a forestry worker who became one of the most famous alleged alien abductees in history. On November 5, 1975, he was driving with 6 of his co-workers through the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona, when they spotted a glowing metallic disk hovering just above the treetops. Walton was curious, so he climbed out of the truck and approached the strange craft. As he came closer, a powerful blue-green beam of light shot from the underside of the object and struck him, knocking him unconscious. His frightened co-workers fled, and when they later returned, neither Walton nor the craft were there. Walton was missing for 5 days. During that time, law enforcement and volunteers scoured the forest for him, but found nothing. Then, suddenly, he reappeared at a roadside near Heber, Arizona. He was dehydrated, disoriented, and claimed he had only felt like a few hours had passed. Under hypnosis, and in later interviews, Walton described waking up on a reclined table inside a brightly lit chamber. He says he was surrounded by 3 short, bald, grayish beings with large eyes and small mouths. These beings have been described by others who have also claimed to see aliens. He tried to defend himself by grabbing a glass-like cylinder from a nearby table, but found he could not break it. Then, according to Walton, he encountered a very different type of occupant. There was a taller humanoid figure in a blue jumpsuit and helmet. This figure escorted him through a corridor into a large hangar-like room filled with more disc-shaped craft. In another room, he met another helmeted human, one of whom placed a clear plastic mask over his face before he blacked out again. When he regained consciousness, he found himself lying by the side of the road, staring at a UFO ascending into the sky. Walton later passed several polygraph tests, so it was clear that he wasn't lying. But some have still questioned his statements, saying that it could be a hoax. The U.S. has seen many UFO sightings over the years, and the common one is the glowing orbs that keep on being spotted in different states. Glowing orbs. Glowing orb UFO sightings are widely reported and visually striking. Across the U.S. and even globally, witnesses have described many mysterious, luminous spheres that often move in ways that defy simple explanation. One well-known modern report comes from Indiana, where on October 7, 2024, several glowing yellow-orange orbs were seen flickering in the night sky near Grissom Joint Air Reserve Base. Observers described a fleet of about 6 silent spheres that hovered briefly before vanishing suddenly. Even Pennsylvania, which, as we have noted, has a history of mysterious and strange UFO sightings, has also spotted flying orbs. On January 21, 2025, there were 3 glowing orbs resting on the ground before they rose straight into the sky. According to witnesses, they were basketball-sized spheres that formed a triangle shape. These kinds of very low or ground-level orbs blew the line between aerial phenomena and something even more extraterrestrial. Over in New Jersey, a glowing golden sphere was captured in a video by a U.S. Air Force veteran. He emphasized that, given his experience with aircraft and drones, what he saw could not be explained by conventional aviation. The orb hovered for around 90 minutes, moving slowly and demonstrating flight behavior inconsistent with known aircraft. Even America's neighbors have spotted some strange UFOs. In Canada, another couple spotted super bright yellow orbs high above a river. They likened the intensity of the glow to a fire in the sky, and the way the lights disappeared behind a cloud added to the mystery. But some skeptics don't believe that these UFOs are real, and instead argue that this could be related to ball lightning, which is a rare atmospheric plasma phenomenon. The long cigar-shaped UFO in Pennsylvania was caught on camera, but it was revealed that that's not all happening in that state. From the strange lights and smoke to the crash sites, Pennsylvania has a history of weird UFO sightings that we still can't explain. What do you think is truly happening in this state? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. So, thanks for watching this video, and we will see you in the next one.